Hi, I'm Alex and welcome to my channel and this yin yang style practice, which is a blend of mobility and yin moments. The mobility is there for us to kind of activate and warm the body through, and the yin moments are there to support us to slow down and decompress. This overall combination supports the body's ability to move from what we call a stress response into a relaxation response in the body. So in respect of our nervous system, that's the sympathetic nervous system when we have stuff to do and we need to be focused, and the parasympathetic nervous system when we need to kind of restore balance, and it helps us move efficiently between the two. So that's what we're aiming to do within this practice. Let's begin. We are mostly going to be down on the mat, but we're going to start standing with these ninja lunges. So bending one knee and then the other, maybe toes slightly turned out, moving from one side to the other side, and just bringing the arms into it however you might like. This might start really contained, but then you could just introduce as much movement as you would like. Try and keep it a little more sedate. We don't want to rush the movement. This is designed to kind of get us really present in the space that we're in, not worrying about where we've come from, not worrying about where we're going next, just so that we can start to focus and be a little bit more mindful of the body and the idea of moving between the fluidity and stillness. So just a couple of more moments here. You might choose to come a little bit lower, you might stay up high. Whatever you want to do, that's your space right now. There are 3 moments in this practice today. So repetition of movement and stillness. So we're going to come down and start in this traveling yoga squat. There might not be a lot of movement to begin with. Fingertips might stay firmly down. We're just moving with the feet. But then we're going to introduce a little bit more. So we might open the knee and take a twist, shoulder rolls back. That might mean we take one hand away but keep the other hand down. Maybe open a little bit wider. Maybe the arm comes away behind you as well. You might explore how it challenges you to take the hands away from the mat completely. For some of us, it will challenge our balance. Then we're going to come a little bit more back to center and just work on dropping a knee down, coming back, dropping the opposite knee down, maybe the hands on top of the knees. A little bit more intensity. The knee, of course, doesn't have to come all the way down to the floor. Just see what you're feeling in your body and where. Just a couple more of those. And then we're going to come all the way down and come out of it, bringing the feet in front of us like so. You might choose to take the legs a little bit straight and have a little shake. And from here, draw the feet back up. Feet are flat, knees are lifted. Maybe fingertips down behind you, lift the chest, lift the gaze a little bit. And then you're going to roll the knees over to the left. As you do, you're going to take this left foot in line a little bit with the front of the mat and the right leg in line with the longer side of the mat. So you kind of have this L type shape going on. And this is going to be our deer shape. Some people call it mermaid. Allows us to open up. You might choose to lift. Just explore what that feels like. You could twist around. But then we're going to work into the yin moment. So this idea of finding a little bit of stillness. This is going to work the kind of glute and the IT band area of the body, maybe the inner thigh for you. We're going to plant the hands down in front of that left leg. Now this might be enough for you. You might all be ready or be feeling quite a lot in that side of the body. So you're going to take a breath in and slowly release. But you might also choose to explore the depth, and we're going to be in it once we arrive for a couple of minutes. So We want to be able to hold it. As ever with yin, it's about time and stillness. So we play the edge of our stretch. And I feel pretty comfortable enough to come down like so. You could also have a bolster or pillow to lean on as well if you want to remain a little bit higher, you want to make it a bit more supportive for yourself. But here we're going to anchor into the breath. Maybe close down the eyes. And work on extending the exhale so that's a little longer than the inhale. Breathing in through the nose, drawing the breath down. And then a soft, slow, long release. And you might find here in this shape that as you breathe and as you find that moment of stillness, you might find the space that means you want to go a little bit further into the shape, or you might find that it becomes a little bit more intense. So wherever you are, as we just step over the halfway mark, you might choose to come a little deeper into it, or you might choose to back it off. And then just settle back into that moment of stillness. And with your next exhale, just walk the hands back, bring them behind you. Maybe you can place that right hand down behind you, just lift the chest, lift the hip. It's coming into that back line of the leg and the hip flexor. And then you're going to windshield wiper the knees from side to side just to release with a little bit of movement. And then we're going to draw ourselves all the way over to the opposite side. So the right leg is now towards the top of the mat, left leg now a little bit more in line with the long side of the mat, working with that L shape a little bit. And again, just as you did before, just explore how the movement feels in different areas of the body. As you come forwards, as you walk the hands away, what feels light, what feels intense. And then come towards the top of your mat. Take a breath in and begin to walk the hands somewhere that feels comfortable, whether you're on the hands, on the forearms, or even choosing to come all the way forwards with whatever support is working for you in your body, anchoring into the breath to create that moment of stillness, extending the exhale so that we might decompress and bring the body back into that kind of rest and digest function that is so very important. Remembering here, of course, that you might choose as you navigate into that stillness journey to back it off or to come a little bit further forwards to release into the shape for this last 30 seconds. And then with your next breath, just mindfully walking, supporting yourself with the hands to walk out of the shape. Again, maybe you take a moment to lift that back leg, open out the chest, or you might come into those windshield wipers to release that moment of stillness. So what we're looking to do is support the body's connective tissues and fascia. Fascia is something that separates and contains every muscle in your body and has the ability to restrict or give movement. So when we work with yin, we are working with that element of the connective tissues, the softer tissues. Come back to center, and then we're going to sweep the knees round, and we're going to come into a tabletop ready for our second section. So it can feel a little bit unusual to move from something that feels quite active into something that's quite passive. But it's no different to our everyday, really, where we are moving from one thing constantly to the other. And when we feel like we don't have time, we don't take a moment to stop in between always. So this is just that idea of when we don't have a lot of time, if we need to stop and take a moment just to decompress the body so that we can do whatever we're going to do next really, really well, this is a really good way to train the body and the mindset as to what that might mean. So come on to hands and knees into this tabletop. Just again, take a little bit of movement to explore the shape. We're going to get quite active in a moment, and it's short bursts of energy. Obviously not jumping around, but we want to maintain a healthy range of motion, and that's exploring movement before we settle into stillness, so that we know actually whether or not it's right for our body in that moment, or if we might need a little bit more support. So back into the tabletop, we're going to take some waves. So softening the elbows back towards you, try not to wing them out to the sides. Inhale, soften. Lift the chest, lift the gaze. Exhale, hug into center, and then draw it back towards the heels. Inhale, travel forwards. Exhale, rise up and over. Drop the chin down as you draw back. We'll just work with the waves and rolls of the spine, working into flexion and extension of the spine. And just taking a moment to rest back there, bottom towards the heels. We're going to take it over into the opposite direction now. So exhale up and over, and then inhale, soften, release all the way back. A little bit of a challenge for the brain whenever we go in the opposite direction. And just one more here. Okay. So we're going to tuck the toes. We're going to inhale, draw back. And as we exhale, hug into center and lift the knees. Just hover there for a moment. Drop them back down. Inhale, draw back. Exhale, hug in, lift the knees. So a little bit more heat into the shoulders and a lot of core activation. Not too much actually going on in the legs if we are activating from center rather than using the kind of glutes and the quads to just lift the legs up. Okay, from here, we're going to keep the knees hovered, like so. I'm going to step the foot under, twist, and push up into this reverse tabletop. Lower the bottom, hand comes down, twist back into our knee hover, not too high, twist over to the opposite side. Lift. We've got 6 more of these to do. Lower down, plant the hand, knees hovering. So number 3, lift, lower, twist, knees hovering. Keep pushing into the finger pads so that you're not putting all the weight into the heel of the hand. That's 4. We've got 4 more to do. Push, twist, and rise up. Lower, twist, knees hovering. Adjust if you need to. You can always tap the knees down for a moment to realign. Lower, And we've got 2 more. Step, twist, push up, lower, twist, hover. Step the foot through, twist, push up, last one, twist, hover, lower. And just think back. A little bit of a burn going on maybe. We're now going to come into our moment of decompression, our yin moment, our breath focused moment. I'm going to bring this here. For those of you that have access to a cushion or a bolster, you might like to try this if you have a lot of tension in your shoulder area, or a little bit of restriction in terms of mobility. Otherwise, and I'll show you both modifications in just a moment. So in yin, this is called a melting heart, but we might otherwise know it as puppy pose. And I'm going to use the block to give you an idea of what you can do, but we're going to come up into active finger pads here and walk the hands towards the corners of the mat. And you're going to lift, wave the belly long, or wave the spine long, lift the belly. Exhale, slowly lower down. So bottom stays lifted, wave long through the spine, release the chest. And one more time, you might choose here to rest the head on the block. So the hands are going to come down, the forearms are going to come down. You might not use the block at all. You might rest the head all the way down. But if this is a lot for your shoulders and there's too much going on there, for you to have that edge of stretch while finding stillness, you can use something like a bolster to support the body and relax down. I'm going to use the block to support my head. And then we're going to anchor into the breath. Breathing in through the nose. A long, slow release through the mouth. And just like with many of the yin shapes, you might find that you want to just release into this as you rest. Or you might find the intensity builds. There's no right or wrong. Doesn't mean we're doing anything wrong. If anything is painful, then yes, we move out of it. And with your next couple of breaths, just getting ready to make a change. Using the hands to support you, maybe just to walk them back to release the shoulders and just rock the hips from side to side. Taking your time to come back up to sit maybe on your heels, but together we can transition round and bring the feet round in front of us. Now, for those of you that might struggle to have one leg in front of the other, please do remember, so we're not doing too much movement here as we kind of climb back down for our third section. So it's okay for us to sit on a block or a smaller cushion just to support elevating the hip bones and giving ourselves a little bit of space. So from here, just take a breath in and draw the arms up. And as you exhale, take a twist to one side. So again, working with that fluidity of movement. And these just moving seated twists. We're going to do about 8 of them. It's not about pulling ourselves into a twist, it's just to see where it goes. And one more either side. Back to center. And slowly draw back down. Now I'm going to come off my block, but you are welcome to stay on yours. Fingertips down either side. Just going to root into the right side and just sweep that front arm leading from the elbow, okay? So don't keep the arm don't lock out the joint. We might start a little bit contained. Again, I'm going to do 8 each side. Opening out the side line of the body for this next yin moment when we get there. We're working the side line of the body, yes, but we're also coming into the entire length of the body, pausing here and then just reaching over. And we've already done some work to open out the gateway of the hips. And just dance the fingers over to the opposite side and do the same. It's not about the depth of movement or how wide your arm circles are. It's just about exploration. So we are working with the twist, so that thoracic area of the spine to the side line of the body, and then working a little bit with flexion and extension as we come into breath of freedom. Again, it's your choice if you stay elevated here. And inhale, lift the chest, so coming into extension, dropping the shoulders. Exhale, curling in and round, coming into flexion. Inhale, open up, and exhale. I'm going to do that 2 more times. Reach the arms out wide and slowly lower down. Okay, we're going to come into our last yin moment. I'm going to put this over here. Now this is a little bit like a crescent moon. Feels more like a banana shape, so we're going to call it banana asana. This is what it's also known as in the yoga world. We're going to come down onto our back. We're just going to lift the pelvis, float it back down so we get a nice strong earth connection. And then we're going to take the feet all the way out in front of us here, like so. We're going to draw the arms up overhead and just sweep them back down. See how that feels. Elbows. So hands up, elbows here. We're going to walk the top body over to one side. So I'm going to go to the right side. So lift and shimmy my body over. And remember, we're doing both the top and the bottom half of the body, so we don't want to go too far. So to create a little bit of a bend through into the side line of the body, into the obliques. And then I'm going to take the arms up overhead again. I'm going to catch hold of the left wrist if you're going the right side. And just gently turn the head over to the right. And then I'm going to do the same with my legs. So I'm going to walk them over to the right, so that I create this kind of banana shape. Take a breath in to see how that feels. You might be feeling it in the kind of upper area of the sideline of the spine, might be through the midline here, or indeed it might be through the hip. And you could, if you wanted to have a slightly more intense line through that bottom line of the body, cross the ankle. But remember, we're looking for our edge of stretch. Just be mindful of the neck, spine, just gently turn the head a little bit more if needed. And then we're going to be here, so connecting into the breath. Breathing in through the nose, long, slow release out. Really opening up into the sideline of the body. Remember not to be afraid to make any adjustments. We're about halfway, which is a good place to do it, but if you need to move at any point, then you need to do that. I'm just going to uncross my ankles. But then settle back into stillness. And with your next breath, we're going to begin just to walk the legs back round to center. You're going to release the wrist, draw the arms back down by your sides, elbows down, hands up, and then just walk the body back to center. When you think you've arrived, have a little look, just in case you're not quite there. And bring the feet to flat, just as you did when you came down. Lift the pelvis and float it back down. Ready for us to go over to the opposite side. You might want a moment to pause there to see how that left side of the body is feeling. And from here, now we're going to walk the top body over to the left, or whichever side you are working with. Draw the arms up overhead, catch hold of the right wrist if you are doing the same side as me. And then walk the feet round. Maybe crossing the ankle to find your banana shape. Connecting to the breath. I like to call these our breath focus moments that support that transition into balancing the energy of the body or the nervous system. You're just over halfway, so again, if you need to make any adjustments on this side, please do that before settling back into that rhythm of the breath. And with your next breath, just uncross the legs if they're crossed, and then slowly walk them back round to the center. Release the arms, draw the elbows down, and support the body back to center. Also, have a little look, see if you've gone too far one way or the other, and then just take a moment here in this rest space, this space of relaxation, as we call it in yoga. You might choose to again bring the feet flat and just lift the pelvis to realign. And you might not even want to take the legs all the way out in front of you. If that's not for you, take the feet a little wider and just drop the knees together. Me, I prefer to have my hands connected to center, to the heart space, but you can have them any way you like as you just take a moment to absorb any kind of communication, observation, energies from not just that last yin moment, but that entire section of movement. And that exploration of fluidity of movement into stillness. Take a breath in, sigh it away. Then you can transition onto your side to join me in your easy seat to seal this practice. Maybe with another breath, maybe with a shrug of the shoulders. I hope you enjoyed that exploration, and I will see you next time.